Hi everybody. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates. Happy Sunday to you. I wanted to share this adorable hand sanitizer holder. I've had these little hand sanitizers. I got them last year on clearance and never did anything with them. So now it is time to share. And I put it in this little holder. Thought it would be perfect to give to friends, neighbors, co-workers, anything like that. So teachers would probably appreciate this as well. So let me show you how I made that. And I just decided I thought it needed a card, a Christmas card to go with it too. Kind of coordinate the whole thing. So anyway, this uses the gingerbread and peppermint designer series paper. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead with the hand sanitizer holder first. That's a mouthful. So now you're gonna, depending on the size or the height of your bottle, because I know there are some that are like this size versus this height. The one I have is about 3 inches tall. So I found that what I'm going to give you the measurements for, I liked it best for this one. A little bit shorter of measurements would work perfect for than those smaller ones now that they have out. So that's probably why this was on clearance, right? Because they were coming out with new shapes. So anyway, my old olive is 2 inches wide and 10 3/8 of an inch long. Now I have 2 score lines here. The first one is at 4 5/8. The second one is 5 3/4. Now I am going to get these measurements on my blog, lindaloucreates.com. So don't worry about remembering them. They will be out there. So, but anyway, that's what they are for this. So let me go ahead. I'm using the Delightful Tag Topper punch, and because it's 2 inches wide, it fits right in there perfectly. Let me just go ahead and do both ends. So, all right. So I'm going to now just get my garbage out of the way. So before I go ahead and fold this, I'm going to show you then I did some very simple decorating then for the this piece. I have some real red 2x2, some of the designer series paper 2 by 1 3/4. So it's 2 inches across, 1 3/4 of an inch wide. So I went ahead and cut 2 of them because I figured it might as well look as good on the front and on the back. So let's go ahead and adhere these down. Now there's no real measurement per se on where exactly to put this down, but I try and make it even. So here's my first score line, and I'm just going to go above it. How's that for being very precise? Now I'm going to come with my other piece here. Like I said, the real red is 2x2. The pattern paper is 1 3/4 by 2. Now the only thing I'm going to do is try and make, this is the other score line, I'm going to try and make them equal. The same amount above that score line is where I'm going to put this. So see, it's all real official and precise how you get to do this. So let's go ahead and crease this down. Get your bone folder. Give it a nice crisp burnish. All right. Now, if I were to go ahead and put my hand sanitizer in there now, it would fall out. I went ahead and it made a little box to keep it in. So that's what I have here. I have a piece of old olive, and it measures 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. Now I put it in my scoring tool and I scored it at 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. All 4 sides were 3/4. All right. So now we're going to start building a little box out of this. So let me get my snips, and here along the short side here, I am going to trim right along that from one score line up to the other score line. Now, do you see how I'm not just making, I'm actually kind of going in and kind of mitering is what I call it, the corners ever so slightly. It just makes it, whenever it closes, look really, really sharp. So I'm just going up to that very first, that first 3/4 of an inch score line. And now I'm going to flip it. Whoops, not yet. I'm going to do this end and kind of cut it at a bit of an angle. And now I'm going to flip it and do the same thing on this side. So let me start here by just mitering this side. And now I'm just going to go all the way through. So I am just going at the score line and going up to the score line. All right, 2 more to go here. And then 1 more here. All right, so here we go. Things are moving around on me. Sorry. Now, I'm going to go ahead and burnish this. So let's go ahead on all of those score lines, give it a quick burnish, even these little tabs on the ends. Let's go ahead and burnish those down. All right. So how is everybody doing? Here in Pittsburgh, we are getting snow. Not my favorite thing, I'll be honest with you. I will be totally honest with you. So now here is my box, and I'm going to just show you kind of how it goes. I'm going to go with the flaps. These little flaps will go in, and then these outer flaps will cover it up this way, and this will be my little box. All right, so the flaps on either side, I'm going to just go ahead, put a little bit of glue. I'm just going to, all right. And so what is the weather like where you are at? Like I said, we are getting snow here. My son was in Philadelphia visiting a friend all weekend long. And here, now I'm going to go to this end flap and go ahead and glue that up now as well. And no snow, but it was cold. It was cold there, he said. So I know it's November. It should be snowing, right? But I don't know. I'm not thrilled about it. All right, let me go ahead and get the other end. So I like to put a little glue on this side and on this side of the flaps. That way, each end will have, if I would not move them around, now, there they go. A little straighter now. Hold them in place while I get glue on this very last flap that I will push up. And then hold it in place. Now, I am going to come in with my little holder here, and this box is going to get glued right on the inside here. Okay? So that way you could put anything in there then. So let me just go ahead. You could use tear and tape, a nice heavy glue, or adhesive, I should say. I'm just going to go here with my standard liquid glue. And just hold that in place for a moment, let it set up a smidge. And then I'm going to kind of set it off to the side, just give it a chance to dry. Let me show you what else now I have ready to go. I love the fact that this paper, the dies, let me show them to you. The gingerbread dies will die cut out these shapes. So like here I have the snowflake. And this is from the Designer Series paper. So I love that they do that, that they have the dies and the paper work together. So it makes a project like this just go so fast. Now, mind you, you could stamp it and die cut it out just as easily. So, you know, don't think that you have to get the paper as well, but it is amazing how quick you can get this to go. So I did not put my dimensionals on, so let me do that. And you know me, I do love my dimensionals. So here we go. I don't want this to go anywhere. Now, as far as my little tag, the tag itself, I die cut from the hydrangea dies, set of dies. This cute little tag came in it. And the words came from, do I have it here? I do. It's called A Joyful Life, or just Joyful Life. I just thought that for you, perfect font. I loved it. So that I stamped in cinnamon cider and then die cut it out with the little tag die. Okay, let me bring my holder back in. I'm going to go ahead and get my hand sanitizer in there. Now, before I do anything else, I am going to close it up. So I have, I don't know, 18, 20 inches of the mini ruffled ribbon from the mini catalog, the holiday catalog. So I mean, you could do 2 pieces that are, you know, 10 inches long, however you want to do it. I honestly didn't even measure. I'm just guessing on what that length is. So, because from here, what I'm going to do is, I now have 2 pieces. Well, I could, if I cut them that way. Again, the linen thread, I just did 1 long piece. Again, it might be 20 inches. Let's say it. I'm going to say that with confidence. It's 20 inches long. And what I'm going to do is, instead of tying the red ribbon or looping it around like you often do for a closure, I'm going to use my linen thread to tie my ribbon closed. So let me start with a knot. That way I don't have to fuss too much with it. All right, now here we go. The moment of truth. I usually don't like to tie bows when I'm doing a video or a live because, boy, things can go wrong with this and a lot of time can be taken up. But this might actually work okay. I shouldn't say that yet because I forgot to put my tag in there, didn't I? So I have the knot. Let me put my tag in now. See? Getting a little full of myself, wasn't I? Let's go ahead and loop the tag in there. All right, now let's tie that bow and see how good it comes out. I broke my thumbnail, I mean down to the very end, and I have a hard time now grabbing things from it, or with it. All right, let me just pull this a little tighter. Move my tag out to where I want it. And there we go. Now you can sort of play with the ribbon itself, pull on it, adjust it the way you want it, make sure it's good and tight without pulling and tearing on your cardstock. All right, so there we go. Because what I'm going to do next is just trim off my red ribbon. Okay. And you know what? You can play with these tails. You can make them one shorter than the other, you know, alternate how the lengths of them or vary the lengths, whatever you want to do. Okay, play with it. Same with my linen thread. Now that it's tied, I can go ahead and cut my tails, and there we go. Decorate this up now with that die cut piece of designer series paper, this snowflake. I love it. I love it. Like I said, huge time saver. And let me get this put down. There we go. I'm going to put a little red gem. It comes from the Wonderful Gems pack. And can you tell that I love these gems? Because I hardly have any left. But just enough that I can add one to the center. And here we go. Here is my hand sanitizer holder. All right, see it from the side. So it's in there good. All right, on to now the card to go with it, because we can't just give a gift without including a card. So let me bring the card back in so I can show you what I did. Bit of a fun fold. I mean, I call it a fun fold. It is a super, super easy fold. What we've got is, I have a piece of real red cardstock. Now, I just went ahead and cut mine like I normally cut them. That is 5.5, excuse me, that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored here at 4 1/4. What I then did was went back to my trimmer and cut off 1 inch off of one side of it. And that's what made this little flap. All right, so that's this piece of cardstock here, where I have, this is now 3 1/4 on this side of the score line, because here's where that 1 inch was. Okay, so let me go ahead and just fold this, or burnish it. Inside is a piece of white, 4 by 5 1/4. I went ahead and cut a 1 inch piece of the designer series paper, and I'm just going to put it on the end here. So let's go ahead and get that down. Sorry, I'm doing stuff off camera. And I know I have to turn things upside down. Anytime back in the day when you used to have the maps, the road maps that you would get maybe at 3A's or something, I was in charge of reading the maps, and I always had to read the map upside down. So I feel like that's kind of my way of, I don't know, my brain sees it that way. My husband would always be like, "What are you doing? You have it upside down." I'm like, I got us here, didn't I? But that's how I was able to read the map and know where we were. So, yeah, looking at the map now on the phone that's the right side up, I'm like, I don't know where I am. So, all right. This side now, like I said, it's 3 1/4 since we cut that 1 inch off. So I have another piece of designer series paper that is 3 inches by 5 1/4. Let's go ahead and adhere that down. Yeah, I know some kids are like, "What are you talking about? You used to have maps that you had to fold up and read, and it was on paper." So yeah, crazy times, wasn't it though? So, okay, so I have the inside done, and it is covered up by the flap, so it's kind of a continuous look here. I have the front done. Here I have a piece of white cardstock. This one, to fit my sentiment, is 1 1/4 by 3. And the sentiment came from, because it was still on my desk from last week, the Holly Jolly Wishes. I really like this set. It's got a fun variety of sentiments in it for Christmas. So I use the Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. So I will adhere that down in this area. In the meantime, I have die cut out, again from the designer series paper, 2 more pieces. This time the ornament and the bell. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these together. So with the bell, let me just put a little bit of adhesive. And I kind of know how I want to have them. And there we go. That's why I like that the liquid adhesive, is because I can move this around. And oh wait, no, I want to move it back that way. I still can. So those 2 are glued together. Let's go ahead and get some dimensionals to put on these. I have a bunch of these, the end pieces of my black ones, and I'm fine that they're the black dimensionals. I have them cut. So let's just go ahead and put them on. You know, I love my dimensionals. It was so funny. Over the weekend, well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I didn't get to see it on Thursday because I had to work, but it was our Stampin' Up's convention, so to speak. It's called On Stage, and it was from home, done virtually. I had a blast, and the one presenter talked about how he loves dimensionals. The lady that was with him doing the presentation kind of jokingly was like, yeah, you sure do. So whenever she was doing the stamping, he was getting a little nervous because he was like, you didn't put enough dimensionals on that. And I was like, I want to high five you because I am the same way. I like to make sure that they are covered from head to toe. So, all right. So here we go. Let me figure out kind of where I want to put this. And you know what? Let me tell you a little trick that I heard. With your dimensionals, if you put some of the liquid adhesive on, once again, you're going to have some of that wiggle room so that when you go to put something down, you have a chance to move it around, because that adhesive will give you that time. And it's adhesive, so it is not going to interfere with the stick factor of the dimensional itself. I thought, what a fantastic tip there. All right, so this time I'm going to go ahead and just adhere straight down my sentiment, because I figured I was going to put some embellishments on it, and I didn't want to have too much of it popped up. So we're going to have a Holly Jolly Christmas. I stamped this in soft suede, by the way. Let me bring back in my wonderful gems, and let's get a couple of those put down. So, sorry, I keep hitting the wire to the light of my camera, so I hope I'm not jostling the camera itself around too much on you. So one more, and there we go. There's the coordinating card. Oh no, it's not. Who am I kidding? There is some linen thread. I wanted to try and pull in as much as I could that was similar to the treat holder, so I tied a double bow using my linen thread. Just doubled it up, tied the bow, rolled up a glue dot. There it is, right there. Now I think I can say that we are done. So let me bring it all back in. Here is the card. Here is the hand sanitizer holder. Super simple to make. Something that you can actually do multiples of. like I said. So, you know, give it to people that you work with. Make sure they always have some handy and on their desk at all times. Teachers would love this because it's the usefulness inside. So, and then you have the coordinating card to go with it. So, hey guys, thank you so much. I will get this up on my blog, get some dimensions on there for you as well, products that were used, so that you can make some of your own. And if you do, please do me a favor, come back to my page, post some so I can see what they look like. I would love to see your take on this project. So anyways, well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you next week. Bye now.